Did you know that one of the most famous saints in the world once served the devil? That's right. Before he was known as Saint Christopher, the towering giant named Reprobus went searching for the most powerful ruler on earth and thought that the devil was it. But what happened next changed everything and led to one of the most legendary stories in Christian history. Stick around, because you're about to discover the story of a man who carried Christ himself across a river. Saint Christopher, one of the most popular and widely venerated saints in Christianity, is often known as a patron saint of travelers. The story that surrounds him is rich in symbolism and faith. He was believed to have been born in the 3rd century in a place called Canaan, a land near modern-day Palestine. As a child, Christopher was known by the name Reprobus, which means outcast or rejected. From a young age, he was different. According to tradition, he was extremely tall and strong. So much so that some stories described him as a giant, possibly being up to 228.6 centimeters tall. Reprobus dreamed of serving the greatest king on earth, and so he set out on a journey to find a king that's truly worth of his loyalty. His first master was a powerful local king, but Reprobus left his service when he saw the king cross himself at the mention of the devil. Christopher then thought that the devil was more powerful than this king he was serving, so he set off on a journey to find the devil. On his journey, he met a pack of thieves whose leader referred to himself as the devil. Christopher started working with these thieves, but then one day while traveling, they passed by a Christian shrine. The devil was scared of this shrine because of the presence of Jesus inside the church. Upon seeing this, Christopher decided that if Jesus was the most powerful king in the world, then Christ is the one he must serve. Christopher, on his quest, found a Christian hermit who began to teach him about Christ. He asked the hermit how could he serve Christ, and he told him to live a life of prayer and fasting. However, Saint Christopher could not do it because he was a big man and was often hungry. The hermit then suggested another way he could serve Christ. There was a river nearby that was very deep and had strong currents. Many people had died because of this river. It would be fitting that Saint Christopher would help people across the river. Saint Christopher obliged, and day after day he would help people across the storms and other dangers just for Christ. One day, a small child came to Saint Christopher and asked to be carried across. Saint Christopher put him on his shoulders and they went on a journey across the river. But with each step, the child grew heavier and heavier, and the waves swelled up. It was as if he was carrying the entire world on his shoulders. When he finally reached the other side, Saint Christopher asked the child why he was so heavy. The child then said, "I am Christ, and when you carried me, you carried the entire world on your shoulders." Then the child disappeared, and Reprobus knew they had truly found the Lord. From that moment on, he was baptized and renamed Christopher, which means Christ bearer. Saint Christopher devoted the rest of his life to spreading the message of Jesus. He traveled, preached, and helped convert many people. His strength, both physical and spiritual, made him a courageous and unwavering missionary. Saint Christopher's sainthood is filled with miracles and heavenly visions. One of the most remarkable visions is when a time during persecutions against Christians. Saint Christopher was captured by a pagan king who demanded that he deny that Jesus was not the true king. When Saint Christopher refused, the king ordered him to be beaten, burned, and tortured. But Christopher remained unharmed. The fire would not burn him, and the weapons used against him shattered. The crowd was amazed. Many turned Christian that day. In fact, 2 of the female servants that had sent to seduce St. Christopher turned to Christianity on the spot. It is said that before St. Christopher's martyrdom, St. Christopher had a vision of Jesus standing beside him, promising St. Christopher that whoever carried his image or honored his name would be protected in times of danger, especially during travel. That is why his image is so popular on medals, cars, and is worn by travelers all around the world, even today. An incredible miracle that St. Christopher has done is that one day he was brought before a king, and the king tried to mock St. Christopher. So he demanded that St. Christopher would perform a miracle right in front of him. St. Christopher replied that he would plant his wooden staff into the ground, and if it turned into leaves and flowers, it would be a sign of God's truth. And before the eyes of the court, that a dry staff bloomed into a living tree with leaves and blossoms. The miracle astonished all who saw it, and many turned Christian that day. St. Christopher was eventually martyred by beheading, but his legacy lived on forever. His name, meaning Christ bearer, shows us that we are too to carry Christ in our hearts through acts of service, love, and courage. Whether we are crossing rivers or facing challenges of our daily lives, St. Christopher inspires us to trust God's strength and serve others with joy and faith. Thank you all for watching this video. But before you go, we're going to say a quick prayer to St. Christopher, so please stick around. Dear St. Christopher, protect me today in all my travels along the roadway. Give me your warning sign if danger is near, so that I may stop while the path is clear. Be at my window and direct me through when vision blurs from out of the blue. Carry me safely to my destined place, like you carried Christ in your close embrace. Amen.